Cracked screen? Dead phone? Don't panic. Repair Room USA has your back.
My free time, I watch Repair Room USA.
Welcome everybody. This is Richard, Repair Room USA. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be cutting around a BGA chip with Underfill. That is the gooey substance that they put around the chip. Not only is it soldered, but it's also glued onto the motherboard. Usually when I do this, I want to use a new blade, but today I'm going to be trying to use a older blade and seeing how it'll work for this job, since this is not a customer's, it's just for show. And the only thing that we're going to be using on this blade is the very tip of it. These type of chips, the way to tell whether there is underfill, if you look at the chip, if you can't see traces and you see that goop everywhere, that is a underfilled chip. Let's remove this chip. I'm going to be cutting around it. I'm only going to be using the very tip, and I'm going to be using a method that I was taught by Brad at iPad Rehab. And basically how are we going to do this is we are going to be using the very tip, and we're going to let the heat, we're going to be using blow dryer heat, which is 260. I'm probably going to turn it up to 70 or 80 on the airflow, and I'm going to turn down my heat since this Atten seems to be very hot sometimes. So like I said, for most people, normal temperature is 360-60. My blow dryer heat for most people will be 260, but since mine is a new machine, I'm going to use 190-70. And basically on the blade, what you want to be doing is you want to keep the blade flat up against the chip. You don't want to bend it in like that. You don't want to go deeper than the very tip, because you see how this blade gets wider. You don't want that to happen. So you need to be very flat against the chip, and you're just kind of letting the heat let you guide around the chip. You don't want to tilt it, and you don't want to tilt it like that. You don't want to tilt it in like that, and you don't want to go further than this very thin tip, because the further you get, the more chance you have of knocking components off. And the whole point of this is this glue, you have to get it off. You have to cut around the chip, or else when you remove this chip, it's going to pull these components up with it. So let's try it. Want to heat it up a little bit. You don't want to like go in there and start getting too deep. You want to let the air soften up the material, and the blade would just glide through there kind of like butter. And you don't want to scratch the bottom of the motherboard. No wonder, I'm not using the blade part. There we go. You don't want to push it ever. You just want to let the blade do the work. It just kind of goes in there like butter. And try to point this away from my hand because it's burning me out. I'll tell you, this works a lot better with a nice, clean X-Acto knife. Alright, I see I cut into the underboard a little bit right there. Well, you don't go too deep, you'll be okay. Alright. And you can feel it when you get to when you touch the bottom, it feels slippery. You never want to be pushing down on it. You always want to just let the blade kind of guide itself around. And look at what I did here. See, I cut into this metal a little bit right there. That looks good. Alright, everything looks good. So now we have to come up with a strategy. If we're going to come in here, we need to come in from this side and then pop it up. Come in from this side, give it a little twist, and pop it up. So let's get ready. We're going to put some flux around the edges. And then we're gonna put in a thicker head on there, because you want to try to use a head that is going to be equal to the size of the chip that you're using, which this one isn't. This tip right here, it's a little bit better. I can get all the way in there, and then I can just pop it off. See how big it is? I'm going to put my machine at max air, which is 100, and we're gonna do 430. We're gonna go in here, heat this thing up, and pop it out of there. I don't know if this method is good, if it works good, but we are gonna try it. So we're basically gonna pop this thing up, go in here, and then pop it up. You ready? Let's see, might ruin this chip. I'm gonna put my base to hold it down. Go in here, heat up the board a little bit, don't shock it. Go. What is that? Wow. Is that from this? Where would that be at? Right here? I don't know what that is. Let's clean this off. Let's wait till it's a little cooler. Now, did I pull any components off with it? Negative. Now what we want to look for is overheating. Luckily there's not too many components here. don't know if this is just scratches onto the PCB or... I think that is a layer that got pulled up with it. It doesn't look like underfill. I don't know what that is. Yeah, that is definitely a layer that got pulled up with it. There is a few bunny, there are a little bit of bunny ears that showed up. This is from overheating. That is signs of overheating. When you're getting these bunny ears, not too much. These components right here are coming right off. So will I try this method again? Probably not. Usually what you want to do, what I do usually for these chips is I usually start around 360, 60, or maybe even lower and just try to take them off slowly. By yanking them off, it looks like I removed some of this bottom layer. If I look at the actual chip itself, that looks okay. And this is the part of the PCB that came up with it. Just a little chunk of the under glass came up. Let's put some flux. Clean up the area a little bit. So when that happens, as long as like the spots that are showing like that are not tinning up, then you should be okay. Oof, smoky. with it. I want to add some flux to my braid. I always add flux to the top. I'm not scrubbing, I'm just kind of lifting up. That's why I put some low melt on there. I just want to lift up the little dots. Like that. Come in with the cotton. Clean up as much as I can. First with the cotton. Is that going to be a problem? Probably. Clean up some of this underfill right here. I want to get this black stuff off. If you don't get the black stuff off, it's not going to sit right when you put it back on. You want to get all this glue off without scratching the PCB. So you want to use very light heat. Without scratching it like I just did. Thanks. That is a trick. Don't scratch it, but get everything off. And a roll holder, not holding. Let's put it in there a little tighter. Ouch, trigger's hot. Alright. Got some underfill to clean over there. A little bit on these edges, clean all this stuff up. Alright, let's try cleaning this up. This right here, it's a crystal. You don't want to knock that off or mess with it at all. They're very sensitive. That right there, we're gonna have to take care of that. It's too big of a mark. See, in theory, when the chip sits on here, it's not gonna matter because the dots are gonna be touching these. It should not be touching that at all. As long as it doesn't tin up. Some of the solder mask. So you want to get a little bit of this. And just a tiny need like a little puddle. There you go. Just want to use a tiny little bit, not a lot. And then just spread it around. There. Anywhere else that's really badly scratched. And just a tiny little bit goes a long way. Don't need that much. Gotta pull some of this off. There we go. Now I want to get the lamp. Use that for a few minutes. Let it dry up. And while that dries, let's look at this chip. Now, there's a few ways to do this. The most fun way is to heat the chip up and to brush it off. So you're going to be using this brush right here. You're going to be heating it up and just brushing the underfill away. You're going to be using blow dryer heat. Heat. Pull away, brush. Heat. Pull away, brush. And I need something that's going to hold it. Maybe I'll brush up and down. Heat. Brush. Heat. Brush. Some people use like a hotter. I'm using 270 right now. Let me turn out the heat a little bit. I'm gonna turn it to 250. Looking pretty good. Now, how to get that off of there without scratching anything up? I want to get that off of there. Oh, let me clean my there. It's off. This is how this brush got so small, is because if you get it in there too fast, you're gonna melt the bristles. Alright, that chip looks good. Now, what I want to do is I want to knock all these dots off. Nice dry iron, and just kind of going out. I'm going from the middle to the outside, and knocking these points as much as I can to flat. You want to use a lot of flux. You want to get it as flat as you can. There we go. Oh, wait, leave it on here. Let's clean it up. Let's clean it up. dry Q-tip, try to get as much as I can off first. Make sure it's good to the touch. Before you add alcohol, you can touch it. If you can touch it, you can add alcohol. Now, if you look at other videos, you see some people use wick to kind of scrub them down a little bit. You don't want to use a lot of heat. Especially if you use wick, what you tend to do is you pull up these pads, and that's not what you want. Clean this up as best as I can. Now I want to clean the back of it. Make sure the sides are clean. Now if I was changing the memory, I would stick this in a programmer and then switch it to a higher capacity NAND. Let's inspect our work. Got a little bit of spots. But as long as you knock them down, that's all you're trying to do. You're just trying to knock them down. So when you reball, there's not any high spots. Alright, this should be definitely hot by now. Look at this. Alright, good. Material on it. Alright. Go. How would the man fit on here? Like that. I do have a line already drawn. And that's how you take off a chip and you fix how many problems that you may want, and you would put it back on. I do have videos on this already. It's very easy to do, but it just takes a lot of practice and a lot of temperature control. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Super fast heat and the high heat to take it off. I don't know if it's actually recommended yet. I just saw it done by a couple other YouTubers and I wanted to try it. I don't see too many rabbit ears, too many problems. But that's what happens when you do high heat like that. You're gonna get the solder to rabbit ear, and it's gonna cause shorts sometimes. It doesn't look like it's gonna be a problem here, but the only way you would know is to put this back on and to see if the phone still works. This would go on something like that, I believe. All right. Well, if you liked the video, please like it, subscribe. If you want to learn more about the basics of micro soldering and what it entails. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Come back to see me next video. Thank you.